Hello, YouTube. This is Mage Power coming to you here with some live reveals. I have not seen these, so you'll get my opinion straight off the bat as to what I think of these as I see them. I have no idea what they do. All I know is that these are dual terminal related for the first section, and then I know that there's some kind of Eldlich fusion. I don't know what it does. I know it's there, and I know there's a spell card which probably is going to be the fusion spell. Beyond that, I don't know anything about these, so let's get into them, starting with the dual terminal lore. So we have selection 10 reveals, DT continues. Okay, this looks Shadal-esque. We have Nef Shadal Genius, Earth Machine Flip Effect. So it's an Earth. Okay, so Shekanaga. Okay, so this is going to be a main deck. Yeah, it's level 4, 1800, 1000. You can only use one of this card's names, one or two effects per turn, and only once that turn. So I I believe all the main deck should all have the same restriction where you can't use both effects and you can only use one per turn. So flip effect. You can target one Shadal monster you control. This turn, it is unaffected by monster effects while face up on the field except its own. I don't think that really matters, but sure. If this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target one effect monster on the field. It cannot activate its effects on the field for the rest of this turn. That's pretty good. So this is essentially an on-command effect veiler-esque sort of card. You can activate this, and it's actually better than effect veiler because this just says that monster can't activate. So you can't even pay cost. So for example, if you're facing Burning Abyss right off the top of my head, if you send this target Dante, you can't even activate the Dante to mill 3. So this would prevent costs as well. It's along the same lines as a Majesty's Fiend, except this doesn't stop all. It just only stops the one. I think this effect is probably something you might see if you see people playing and fusion summoning on your opponent's turn. Being able to get this into the grave on the opponent's turn, having this for an interrupt, it seems like a pretty good card. But it's just going to be a matter of how people are going to do it. So, moving on. Okay, we have Monka TOS word on YouTube, Shadal Void. Fire Fiend flip effect. Okay, so Grista. Grista's never really been a popular one because it's never really had the things to summon with it, but it's actually not a bad card. It's, if I recall correctly, it's like a Black Horn of Heaven or a Solemn Warning. I could be mistaken exactly on the wording of it, but I'm pretty sure it negates summons. So interesting. Level 9. Okay, that's pretty big. Okay, this is still a main deck monster. It's a level 9 though. That's pretty big. 2900, 2900. You can only use. Okay, so same restriction that all Shadals have. Flip effect, you can target a face-up monster you control. Sorry, one face-up monster your opponent controls. Send a Shadal monster with the same attribute from your extra deck to the graveyard, and if you do, banish that target. Okay, so that's a pretty good flip effect, because you can gain advantage out of the extra deck by sending, if you send a Construct or a Winda or anything like that, you can recur out of your graveyard. Also, if you send Up Cologne, you can get the search out of your deck and then the discard. So there's a few ways you can use this to get pretty good advantage. However, it's still the flip effect, and being level 9, I don't know how often you're actually going to be getting this face down on your field. So if you could pull this off, yeah, it seems like it might be worth playing for that effect if you think it's worth it. But I don't know if you're playing it for the flip effect. What's the other effect? If this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, like all Shadals, You could send cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard equal to the number of different original attributes on the field. Okay, so we're milling now. I guess that feels a bit subpar. You know, I understand you can hit a lot of Shaddolls that way, and you might also be playing some other deck in there that likes being in the graveyard. But I don't know that you want to play this for the chance. Chance cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Aren't that great, and I've always considered chance and milling to be about the same. It's why I've never really thought Lightsworn was that great of a deck, because sure, you're going to start milling your cards, but what are the actual odds of you hitting the card from your deck to the graveyard that you want to? I don't know. I like that they gave him an actual in-archetype fire though to make Grisha, but I don't know that I don't think it's worth playing. I don't. Galaxy Cipher X Dragon. Okay. Well, so the original Galaxy Eyes Cipher would take monsters and make them 3,000. This is 2 level 10 monsters. Hello, trains. Light Dragon XYZ, rank 10, 4,000 attack, 3,000. This is pretty big. Okay. Once per turn, you can also XE summon Galaxy Eyes Cipher X Dragon by using a Cipher Dragon monster you control as materials. So you could use Galaxy Eyes Cipher Dragon. You could make that with 2/8 and stack this on top. So, okay. You can detach 2 materials from this card. Your opponent cannot target a light monster you control with card effects until the end of their turn. Okay, so it's one-time anti-targeting, but it lasts until the end of your opponent's turn. Okay, that's not terrible. Once per turn during your standby phase, you can return 1 rank 9 or lower Dragon XYZ monster from your graveyard to the extra deck, then special summon that monster from your extra deck by using this card you control as material. This is treated as an XE summon. Transfer this card's material to the summoned monster. Okay, so it's a rank up? Well, no, it'd be a rank down. So let me pull up the deck constructor here. Cipher. Okay, so let me change tabs here for you. So we have Galaxy Eyes Cipher Blade Dragon, Galaxy Eyes Cipher Dragon, and Neo Galaxy Eyes Cipher Dragon. Okay, so I think in reality you're probably not getting to Neo Galaxy Eyes Cipher Dragon, but that leaves the original Cipher Dragon and Cipher Blade Dragon. And then this effect is not a once per turn, so you can do the effect of Cipher Blade multiple times. So in theory, this new card, jumping back over, live editing, done cheap. This Galaxy Eyes Cipher X Dragon would allow you to use Cipher Blade multiple times per turn, because you could summon Blade on top of Cipher, use Blade effect, then use Cipher on top of Blade, and then detach 2 to prevent targeting of light monsters, then use the other effect to target the Blade in the graveyard because you detached it, return it to the extra deck, then stack the Blade on top of this and use Blade again. It's an interesting combo, and it's interesting, but I don't know. Maybe. It might be worth playing for some kind of OTK strategy, because Cipher Blade destroys monsters, so you could clear out a field pretty well with that. Especially in combination with Cipher Dragon being able to take a monster, Blade pop, and then summon Blade later, pop another, so you can deal with 3 monsters. That's pretty good. I like that. Then we have Laval Archer. Okay, so we get a new Laval. Okay. I knew it was DT lore, but come on, that's a bit out of left field. Level 4 Pyro, 1,200. You can only use this card's second effect once per turn. If this card is normal summoned, you can activate this effect during the main phase of this turn. You can normal summon one lava monster in addition to your normal summoner set. You can only gain that once per turn. This effect does activate, so it's not going to be like Pollux, where it just happens. And then, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target a fire monster you control. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except fire monsters. Also, destroy that target, and if you do, special summon this card in defense position, but banish it when it leaves the field. Okay, so if you have fire monsters that want to be in the graveyard, and I know levels have some of that, but in theory you can destroy that, and then this also being a level 4 1000 means I believe the new Magistus link applies to this. I could be wrong, and let me know if I'm wrong on that, but I believe you can make the new Magistus link with this. So you might be able to cheat out monsters that way, then use the second effect to destroy what you want in the graveyard, summon this back out, get that effect in the graveyard, perhaps? It might see play. I don't know Lavels well enough, but anything that says gain an extra normal summon, that's probably not terrible for the deck. I'd like to see what Lavels can do with this. I don't think it'll help them really, but we'll see. Lavalval Salamander. Okay, we have a new Lavalval. That's interesting. Fire Dragon Synchro Effect. Level 7, 2,200. Or sorry, 2,600, 200. 200 obviously because all of the Lavals are 200. You 1 tuner plus 1 non-tuner fire monsters. So a synchro. Okay. Oh wait, the Fire Dragon Synchro effect. Yep. I'm quick today. You can only use this card's name's one effect per turn. If this card is synchro summoned, you can draw 2 cards. Okay. Do we need the rest of the effect? Draw 2 cards. Done. Next effect, right? No, let's see what it is. Then send 2 cards from your hand to the graveyard, including at least 1 fire monster. Or if you do not have any fire monsters, should be monsters in your hand, reveal your entire hand and shuffle it into the deck. Ooh. Laval does like cards being in the graveyard, like, I believe they use the Flameville Fire Lady. I know Laval and Flameville kind of go together in that sense. I think this is probably something that they would play if they can get to this. I don't know how easily they make this. If you play Laval, let me know if this is a card that you can make pretty easily, because based on that effect, it would seem like something you could probably abuse actually pretty well in the deck. But I'm not an expert in the deck. I think this is probably a good card for the deck, though. Once per turn, you can banish a fire monster from your graveyard. Change face-up monsters your opponent controls to face-down defense position up to the number of Laval monsters you control. So non-targeting flip face-down. I guess face-down isn't as relevant anymore because of links, but you could still flip things like a Boral Savage face down, or actually you could even flip Dragoon face down with this. That's not terrible for a secondary effect when the first effect I think alone can carry it. For the second effect to be actually a reasonable effect, it'd be better as a quick effect, but card's not bad. I like that card. And then moving on, we have the Eldlich version of this. This is just 2 cards, like I said, but I don't know what they do. Let's see. BLVO Fusion Eldlich. This is going to be Blazing Vortex. So this is going to be... I don't know... I don't remember when Blazing Vortex is coming out, but BLVO is the Blazing Vortex code. So don't get confused, that is not a Battles of Legend reveal. But BLVO, Blazing Vortex, we have El Rey Conquista Eldlich. So it is a light zombie fusion effect level 10. So we're sticking to the level 10s here. One Eldlich monster plus one level 5 or higher zombie monster. So you can use the traps to make it, and you have to then also. I believe you have to use Golden Lord then because it's the only Eldlich monster. It's important to note, though, that this does mean we're probably getting more Eldlich support in Blazing Vortex, but that also means we could be getting a reprint in Maximum Gold. So we will see. Be careful and be prepared on the market with that. You can only use this card's third effect once per turn. This card's name becomes Eldlich the Golden Lord while in the monster zone. Cool. So you could trigger spells and traps easier and do cooler things with that, sure. Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect. Okay, it's 3,800. So yeah, that's pretty big. So you have to banish it or tribute it or that's not bad, but you can still target it. Right now it's feeling beat stick like. You contribute one zombie monster and target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Take control of it, but it cannot attack or activate its effects until the end of this turn. So mind control. It doesn't feel like a bad card, but am I sitting here and saying that this card is good? It's not bad. But I think I would need the fusion spell to be a good card for me to consider playing this. Like, if the fusion spell isn't good enough, if the fusion spell is broken, yes, I play this. But I don't. You might play this in the extra deck just to be able to say you're playing monsters in the extra deck that matter in Eldlich. What else in Eldlich are you playing in the extra deck? But it's an option, I guess. So we have 7 Realms of the Golden Land. So it's a Golden Land spell. Continuous spell. Okay, you can only use this card's names 1 and 2 effects each once per turn. During your main phase, you could fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck using zombie monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. Okay, so I would think for a zombie deck you should have been able to banish from the graveyard. So already not great in my opinion, especially because the traps you have to set them up and get them going, and you're only playing really one main deck zombie in a lot of these decks. Obviously there are decks committed to playing more zombies, but like Eldlich themselves only have just the one Golden Lord. Maybe if we get more actual monsters for the deck, this might become possible to do easier. But in the meantime, no. If a zombie monster is special summoned by a card effect, so any card effect, okay, so you could trigger this with Golden Lord, you could trigger this with Sanguine, you could trigger this with Eldlixir. You could target one set card in the spell and trap zone. It cannot be activated this turn. Just this turn. I guess if you're scared of a particular back row, this feels subpar. It's not terrible because you can lock down opponent's back row with this. You now have something that's actually dealing with your opponent's back row. Maybe this is a one of, or maybe side deck for certain matchups like Altergeist or Paleo. I don't know. I don't like either of these really. I don't think either of them really suck, but I want to see more. I don't think either of these helps it. I think these are options. Like I said, I think at best this is a one of. And I think maybe you could play this if you're playing a one of this. Like, Anyways, let me know down in the comments what you think of these. For those of you who are catching this video within the first 24 hours or so, I am going to be streaming the new Jackbox Party Pack 7 tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Central. Feel free to stop on by twitch.tv/magepower. I know a lot of people have been looking forward to that, and I've been saying I was going to do it, and comes out tomorrow, we're going to do it. Anyways, have a good one. United we stand, in Mage Power we trust.